Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. Like a night of steamy passion or an office drinking contest, a great story can be ruined if you don't know how to pace yourself. If, for example, your fantasy epic is just battle after battle, the peaks stop being peaks and are merely plateaus. If your erotic novel is just orgasm after orgasm, your reader will stop suspending their disbelief and wonder where all these bodily fluids are coming from. And stories with incredibly extended and interminable sections that drag on forever will lose readers faster than you can say Chapter 11 of The Picture of Dorian Gray. Audiences today necessitate great pacing. It's the same reason I often sneak subliminal, single-frame flashes of hardcore pornography in these videos. But for the sake of this video, I have instead decided to illustrate this point by consuming a series of stimulants and depressives when recording this narration. We'll hit high highs and low lows on this edition of Stories Matter. Today's video is brought to you by McGill's Irish Coffee. When one addiction just isn't enough, reach for a rich, warming cup of McGill's. When I need a boost of energy in the early morning, but also want to taper off after a night of binge drinking, I always go with McGill's Coffee. It's smooth, it's delicious, its name is a little bit racist, and its fragrant odor won't tip off your coworkers to the fact that you're getting wasted at work. Visit your local McGill's for more information. Pacing can be tricky for a novice writer, because in this competitive market, you're always trying to stand out, and going big early can be a great way to grab your reader's attention. And you might get scared that once you let up, they won't keep following along. But think of it this way. When have you ever seen a stripper enter a stage with their tits already out? I mean, I have. But I'd argue that those performers weren't actually strippers, as they were there performing much more vile acts. In any case, the show didn't start with the donkey already on the stage. Or, to use a metaphor that the underage versions who watch this channel might understand better, imagine starting your meal with a hot fudge sundae, a slice of tiramisu, and a grimace milkshake. I mean, I have also done this too. But, like the last example, both of these situations ended with me puking in a Mexican jail cell. If you're ever in doubt, just ask yourself, is this going to make my reader feel like they're vomiting in a Mexican jail cell? Step 1. Balance fast and slow. We're going to start off with a very simple hack. If nothing else in this video makes sense to you, and given the drugs I'm on, it might not, or if you don't feel like you can pull it off, which given the fact that you're watching this video, you might not, but anyway, just do this. 1 chapter fast, 1 chapter slow, 1 chapter fast, 1 chapter slow. Just repeat this for as long as you can until the story ends. It might sound contrived, it might sound unnatural, it might sound obvious, and it is. But then again, your reader might be as lazy and stupid as you are, and if your story had sexy vampires or something, then maybe they won't be so distracted that they just won't notice. Step 2. Use language to your advantage in fast sections. Of course, the more you write, the more you'll understand the natural ebb and flow of narratives, and when exposition needs to happen, when the reveals and turning points need to arrive, and when it's subvert audience expectations. But fast sections, use short sentences, use quick punchy dialogue, make shit explode, limit descriptive language, make it sound like your narrator's having a heart attack, or sitting in front of their computer freebasing a mountain of crack. Step 3. Hone in on some minor details in your slow sections. Action scenes are easy to write, especially if you watch this video 5 or 6 times. But digging into a character's psyche that's not an obvious self-insert, that's tricky. One good fallback is the soul-bearing monologue, where one hero sits by a fireplace and tells everyone their past trauma. In my story Lone Mountain, hero Colt Action delivers a monologue about accidentally shooting and killing a 10-year-old Comanche boy, swimming in the river after he mistook him for a crocodile. And don't be afraid to get bogged down in the details. One of the greatest things you can do as a writer is to provide vivid description of a landscape, or a house, or a pair of female breasts. These give your stories a chance to breathe, and they can be metaphors and deepen meaning. And they can be just as interesting as an action scene or a big reveal. I mean, have you ever looked at your hands? Look at them. Shit's crazy. Step 4. Use subplots. Finally, if you're a bit more experienced as a writer, adding subplots is another way to move the story forward and hold audience interest. Oftentimes, it doesn't matter if the subplot is completely different tonally. Think of any video game you played where searching for some dumbass villager's dog was more fun than slaying a dragon or whatever. If your personal life is a complete disaster and you constantly hover on the edge of suicide, you're probably pretty good at writing comic relief. So add a fun subplot that runs beside your main narrative. When I wrote The House on Payne Avenue, it was about Daniel, a rural Oklahoma high schooler dealing with his emerging homosexuality and his estrangement with his father. I included a subplot about his brother Derek, a sophomore at Wake Forest, who has to get the Deltas off probation after accidentally poisoning the dean with a plate of brownies made from dog shit. Well, that's all for today. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll leave you with this week's author quote of the week. See you on the next one.